Happy New Year. So I thought I would come on and do a little video. I know a lot of people are probably, well, maybe not a lot of people are planning on doing what in Scotland anyway is called the Loony Duke on New Year's. So a lot of people have probably already done it first thing in the morning, but I thought, well, you know, there's no time like the present, and maybe some people, we're going down to see some people that are doing it in the afternoon, but it's like the group of ladies that I always go to like the harbour and do the dukes with. So Loony duking is getting in the sea or a body of water, cold water, swimming essentially. But on New Year's, quite a lot of people do it for the first time ever or do it once a year, and it's something where I think it can be quite good to have a bit of an idea of ways that you can make sure you're doing it safely, because at the end of the day, cold water shock isn't a joke. It's not fun. So first things first, I mean, make sure that you're doing it with somebody else. So with one other person, a group of people, because not only is it more fun, but it also means that you can all look out for each other. You can all make sure that everybody is safe and check for signs of things like hypothermia and cold water shock. So that's kind of like your first thing. You want to make sure that you've got plenty of layers and clothes to get back into after you've been in the cold water as well. You know, there's no limit to layers. Like, you can go wild and lay the clothes out in the order that you're going to get in them, because when you're cold, especially when your fingers are really cold, it can be a lot harder to kind of like grip things and things like that. So make sure the layers are nice and easy to get on and put them on, stack them so that it's going to be in the layer that you put on first, that's at the top. Another thing that you can do is you can take a hot water bottle with you and you can put that in with them. That makes them warm, and then you can pop that in one of the layers as well to help warm you up a little bit quicker. Next one would be, I always take like a little flask of tea. You know, it's better to not have like caffeine. So like a ginger or lemon tea or something like that I tend to put in, and something to eat. People do quite a lot as well. I don't tend to have a snack. Quite a lot of people have like cakes or something afterwards. I normally wait until I get home, but you know, eating helps to raise your body temperature quicker. So that's another thing. When you're actually in the water, so you're not like diving in or getting in really fast, especially if you're not used to it. So you want to edge into the water and just take your time. The main thing that you want to be able to do is to control your breathing. So when cold water shock hits you, your natural reaction is to go, "Ah!" And that's kind of where the panic comes from, and the danger of you know, inhaling water and all that sort of stuff. So you're aiming to do nice deep slow breathing as you're getting into the water and focusing on the exhale. So really focusing on the exhale and just nice and slow and steady deep breathing. So breath work is epic. If cold water duking, cold water swimming is something that you want to get into, I would highly recommend developing the proficiency you have in conscious breathing, because it will make a huge difference. The next thing is making sure that you're not being a hero. So get in and you leave before you feel like you've had enough. So aiming for times is not a great thing to do, especially if you're new, but different variables can affect how your body copes with cold water. So get in, you know, have a good time, settle in, do whatever, but make sure you leave before you feel like you've had enough, because, you know, again, risk of hypothermia, but also you've got something called the after drop. So once you get out of the water, your body is going to continue dropping in temperature for, you know, anything between 20 minutes and a few hours. So if you stay in too long, you can end up feeling really for not doing that. So for not getting out quick enough and getting dressed quick enough. So yeah, leave before you feel like you've had enough, when you're like, oh, this is good. It's time to go. And start small when you're new, and you can build up in time. Let's see. Another one is for actually going in. You know, I personally get in a swimming costume. I've been doing cold water immersion and things for maybe about I think it's about 3 years now. So I started off with doing cold showers at the end of a hot shower, and then developed to doing cold showers, and then into baths inside, and then out into the sea. So like, you know, I had a long sort of period doing it, especially with lockdown, and you know, I was a single parent, so I couldn't just like go off and start learning to swim in the sea and you know, and the rivers and stuff during lockdown. So but it was in lockdown that I really locked down, if you like, into the whole cold water thing. So yeah, but I'd say, like, you know, you can use neoprene gloves and neoprene boots. It's amazing how much they can actually support your temperature when you're in the water. One of the most important things for keeping body temperature and, you know, not releasing too much of it is to wear hats. So some people wear hats in the water. If you're going to wear a hat in the water, make sure you have a replacement dry one for when you come out of the water. I have a hat for, well, I basically wear a hat like all the time, but for before I go in and after I come out, I don't tend to have one in the water. And I've done this slightly lower than 0 degrees. So I've kind of figured out my feels on all of it. But you know, you've got to go with what works for you and the level that you're at. And some people wear full wetsuits, so like, you know, zone 3 ones and things like that are used for like triathlon, or you could use you know, shorties, so shorty wetsuits. You know, it's really your call. I think that's it. I mean, again, making sure that you're with a group of people and make sure it's a safe body of water as well. If you're not aware of things like, you know, rip tides, rip currents, understanding the sea, or it's always a good idea to understand the body of water that you are going into. You know, a lot of the time I'm getting into a tub in my back garden, so like, you know, but even then, you know, when the wind was crazy and I heard the tiles rattling on the roof, I had to consider that and be like, maybe I better not do it, you know, that time. But yeah, I think that'll be enough for you to kind of go on with. But I think it's just something that, like, lots of people are really getting into cold water, and the benefits are amazing, and it is good fun, and I love it. And at the same time, it's really important to respect anything that is going to extremes. So if it's something you want to get into, join a group of people that do it. Find people that you can, you know, tag along with. Read up so that you understand about the safety, and yeah, enjoy.